Freshman Congressman Brandon Gill of my home state of Texas. Brandon, welcome. If we listen to folks like the majority of the biased press, to guys like Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, John Cornyn, Liz Cheney, and a host of other so-called moderates, the obligation of we conservatives is to meet unqualified, incompetent, self-serving, unconstitutional leftists halfway, because they will say bipartisanship is everything. And by the way, it's only everything and only when the GOP is in the majority. When Dems are in charge, bipartisanship goes out the window. I say conservatives should not seek middle ground with incompetence. I say we should defeat them because people are dying because of them. What do you say?
I say you're exactly right. Chris, let me tell you, whenever Democrats have control, like we do right now, of the House and the Senate and the presidency, what do? They look to ram their agenda down the throats of the American people. That's how we got Obamacare. That's how we got the disastrous Inflation Reduction Act, which has grown inflation. Prices have gone up 20% over the past few years under Joe Biden. Democrats go all out whenever they have power. We need to do the same thing. We have the House, the Senate, the presidency, and we have a very strong mandate from the American people. I'll tell you, I'm not interested in bipartisanship for the sake of bipartisanship. The American people are sick of liberal policies. They're sick of open borders. They're sick of a failing economy. They're sick of wokeness being shoved down the throats of their children whenever the parents don't want anything to do with it. And we've got to take our country back. Now, if Democrats want to work with us to do that, they're welcome to do that, but Republicans are in the driver's seat now.
Yes, if the Democrats want to come and start being Americans again, I'm all for it. There are reports that Senate Democrats actually are planning to join Republicans in passing the Laken-Riley Act. You've also put forward a new bill to codify President Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. Since Americans rejected the Democrats' promotion of illegal immigration in the last election, do you think some Democrats might support your bill as well?
Well, I certainly hope they do. The Remain in Mexico Act is probably one of the most common sense proposals that we could have on the books to stem this massive deluge of illegal aliens pouring into our country that Joe Biden invited from all over the globe. It simply states that asylum seekers from countries that are not Mexico need to wait in Mexico while their asylum claims are being processed. It was incredibly effective during the Trump administration. It's stemming the tide of illegal aliens coming in. I hope that we can get this thing passed quickly and get it signed into law. I'm joined by 60 to 70 Republican co-sponsors. I don't even know the number because we're getting more and more every single day. We don't have any Democrats yet. I hope that they will join us in trying to secure the border. I'll tell you, though, Chris, I don't have a whole lot of hope right now after seeing how the Democrats voted on the Laken-Riley Act 2 days ago. But again, if they want to join us to save this country, I'm welcoming them with open arms. But again, this is our bill. This is our agenda, and we're going to get it passed with or without them.
As you know, Mr. Gill, for years, Barack Obama and company spread the most vile lies about President Trump, calling him Hitler, saying he was the biggest threat to democracy, yada, yada, yada. Today, Barack Obama was seen laughing it up with President Trump at the funeral for Jimmy Carter. Odd behavior from Obama, sitting with a guy his people called Hitler. Doesn't this really show that Democrats will say or do anything to keep their power, and that it is they who are the exclusive divisive force in these once united states?
That's exactly what it shows. At the end of the day, Barack Obama, like every single other American in this country, has to be able to see the contrast between the state of the country under Joe Biden and the state of the country under President Trump. We had a booming economy under President Trump. We've had a weak economy under Joe Biden. We had secure borders under President Trump. We've had open borders and mass chaos and destruction under Joe Biden. We've seen the woke flood of nonsense pushed on our children over the past few years. We've seen our government get weaponized insanely, going after parents who don't want wokeness and transgender nonsense being shoved down the throats of their children. Governments attacking them. President Biden can see all of this just like every other American can. And at some point, it's hard to keep the charade up. Even they have to admit that their policies have been a failure.
Yeah. Brandon Gill, you, Congressman.